Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Emperor's Palace. We no longer have a bio bubble, which is great news for promoters, save us a lot of money. All the fighters are self-isolating at home, but with me I've got the legend himself, former world champion Brian Mitchell. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Drix Malai.
Always great to have you, and we've got a real stacked card Saturday presented by Golden Gloves. I think possibly quite the best one so far since the pandemic. And it's two cards. One is a development show, and that's to be followed by the main card.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. There's 4 fights in the afternoon. It starts at 2:30 in the afternoon live on Supersport, and then the 4 fights go into the big 5 fights. The first of the big 5 fights will be Johnny Miller, Carney Puzi, and then of course the Duma Lamati, which we're going to talk about a bit later.
Yes, just touching on the development part of the show, that's where it all starts. There's a few 4-rounders and a 6-rounder. Everybody likes the heavyweights, and we've got Alan Talweel's kid, still very young and raw, 4-0 for Willem Neebe. He's going up against Jean-Pierre Steenkamp, who's making his pro debut. Lots of work still to be done in Neebe, but entertaining.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting one, because I mean, he's a massive guy. He's like as big as Bakkies Botha is. And then Steenkamp looks the part as well. He's 6'2", he weighs 105 kilograms. It's his debut under Harold Volbrecht. And we're expecting a good fight here. I believe Steenkamp can fight. Nobody's seen him yet. And we know Neebe can fight, and he's a massive guy. And yeah, he's entertaining as Neebe.
He takes a few and he gives a few. I was sitting next to him at the pre-fight medical. His fist is about the size of my knee. So he's a really big giant.
He's a big man.
And he's lost a bit of weight as well. He hasn't got the roll around the middle.
He's pretty cool at the official weigh now.
So that will be interesting. And then the guy that's headlining the sort of mini main bout of the development side of the tournament is Shavonte Koopman, 6-0 now, going up against Jacques Makubu from the DRC, I believe.
Also 6-0.
Also 6-0.
So it's good to see what Koopman's really got, because Koopman looks the part in all his 6 fights, and as you said, he's heading up the development show, and he's a good talent to look out for. Let's see how he does tomorrow afternoon, Koopman.
And his opponent, see in his last fight, he beat an opponent who was 8-1. It's hard with his records from the DRC. You don't actually know how good the guys are. Yes. But that's a better record in that opponent of his than anyone Koopman has fought. So it should be seen maybe as a step-up fight for Shavonte Koopman.
Yeah, it is a step-up fight for him. Well, the guy's 6-0, so, and Koopman's 6-0, so we'll see who keeps their out tomorrow.
Yes, Shavonte Koopman, one of the young prospects, guys with fights under 10, I think, to watch. He's got power, he stays calm under pressure, he's got good all-round boxing skills. So we'll see. Now, if we go over to the main card, it's repeat or revenge, because last time out, the veteran, Johnny Miller, gave Akani Puzi his first defeat as a professional. And he didn't just squeak home with a split decision or something. He gave him a boxing lesson, Brian.
Yeah, it was very different, because the last tournament was incredible, because I probably got most of the fights wrong. I didn't think Johnny Miller would win. Akani Puzi's a good boxer. He's technically refined. He's a good fighter. And Johnny Miller but Johnny does come to fight. I mean, Johnny always comes to put on a good performance. Johnny jumped on his man on Puzi and knocked him down in the first round and beat him quite convincingly on points. So it's a big ask for Puzi now. He's got to get up for it. He needs to win desperately.
Is it an ideal situation having such a quick turnaround? He lost the fight by a mile last time out, and now he's right back in with Miller.
Yes and no. It could be a good thing, because he didn't think he's going to lose to Johnny Miller. He was undefeated, and Alan Talweel didn't think he's going to lose. And this is his opportunity to just jump straight back in and beat Johnny Miller. He needs to beat Johnny Miller to be kind of the real deal in the cruiserweight division. And for now, he's not. And another loss to Puzi is not going to help his record, of course. And Johnny Miller is keen to keep winning. Johnny actually looks good as a cruiserweight, I must say.
I agree.
He's fought as a heavyweight, he's fought as a light heavyweight and a cruiserweight. And he kind of seems to be, he's a 6'1" man. He's got to train hard. He picks up a lot of weight between fights, Johnny. And he looks good as a cruiserweight.
I agree, you know, as a heavyweight, he just didn't have a frame for it. He was too small. And making the cruiserweight division kind of forces him to train and get in shape. So
yeah, you got to get to 90.7. Yes. I mean, even a guy like Kevin Lerino, who's a classic fighter and the IBO cruiserweight champion, he prefers to fight heavier, obviously, but I like him as a cruiserweight, Kevin Lerino, because he's got to get to 90.7. And to get to 90.7, whether you're Kevin Lerino or Johnny Miller, you become sharp and you become in shape.
Who do you have, Brian? Do you think it's going to be revenge for Akani Puzi, or do you think Johnny Miller is going to repeat his win?
I'm gonna go Johnny Miller, and I did say Akani Puzi last time, so you can't really say go by what I say anymore. I think Johnny Miller wins again.
I agree. I also have Johnny in that fight. I think it's just too quick turnover. I don't know what they could have worked on to adjust for this fight. I think Akani Puzi needs to hurt Johnny early and jump on him, and to prevent Johnny from getting into that boxing rhythm. Because once he's in that rhythm, you've got trouble.
Yeah, I think, well said, because that's the only way Puzi can win. He must jump on Johnny and get respect out of Johnny.
And another little side story, Akani Puzi will be without his trainer Alan Tawil in the corner.
Sadly.
Alan tested positive for COVID-19 in the pre-fight medical. So, well, best wishes to Alan Tawil. Hope he requires quickly.
Absolutely.
But Akani Puzi has got a lot to stacked up against him tomorrow night.
Yeah, sadly he's going to miss Alan Tawil in the corner. Alan Tawil is a good strategist, and he's a good trainer, and he's a good motivator, Alan Tawil. So that's another downside for Akani Puzi. But yeah, Akani Puzi, at the end of the day, it's the two fighters that get in the ring. It's not the trainer. And it's another opportunity for him. Alan Tawil wanted this desperately, and they've got it. And this is your opportunity to make it happen. Akani Puzi wants to do something in the cruiserweight division, in boxing. In fact, he needs to beat Johnny Miller tomorrow night.
Then moving on, we've got the runner-up of a forward wall, Rourke Knapp, who's recovered well from his defeat to Brandon Tyser. He had a nice first-round knockout last time out against Simon Gladla. Yes, and then against Tristan Tritter before that. An exciting fighter, because he's explosive, he's got some power, he sometimes take a shot to land one, like he did there against Simon Gladla. And he's up against Benoit Makangila Vela from the DRC, an undefeated fighter, 12-0-2. There's no footage that I could find of Vela. I've heard through the grapevine he's a strong, tough guy. You don't know what it means from the DRC fighters. Maybe sometimes that means they wrestle and throw you down. Sometimes it means they can actually fight. It's hard to say, because undefeated fighter, but I see Vela's last fight has been at welterweight. So he's now up at junior middleweight. So how do you see that fight?
Well, the Congolese fighters can fight. There's no doubt about that. Most of the guys from the Congo, they come to South Africa, come here and they win. They really do exceptionally well. So the Congolese fighters are dangerous. So Vela should be a danger. But I really like Knapp. He's charismatic. He's explosive. He jumps on his opponents. He's got great hand speed. Obviously was off the boil against Tyser. Got stopped by Tyser, but then came back well. But every fight you're on the line. So we don't know what Vela's going to bring. And it's another opportunity for Rourke Knapp to show his explosive side, and to show you that he's a charismatic fighter.
Because of the curfews, these two bouts, the next one with Tyser as well, been reduced to 8 rounds. But I kind of think, I've underestimated Rourke a couple of times, and I'm not doing it again. I'm going to go Rourke by stoppage. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yes, absolutely. Rourke Knapp. I'm a Rourke Knapp fan. I think he wins by stoppage.
And then one of the new emerging stars, unlikely star of South African boxing, a real feel-good story, is Brandon Tyser. His career was sort of sputtering along. He was one of those guys that's, sort of in the middle, lost a close points decision to Boyd Allen, then got into the Super 4. I think most people favoured Rourke Knapp, or maybe perhaps Boyd Allen, to win that. And Brandon Tyser looked stellar. He stopped Rourke, and he stopped Boyd, and he looked like $1 million. Great job with Damien Durant did on him.
Yes, Damien Durant's great with him. Yeah, Brandon Tyser's just come on so well. He was the dark horse, like you said, in the Ford War. But he's like his dad. They're awkward and they can fight. And Brandon Tyser's proved by winning that Ford War that he's a force to be reckoned with in the junior middleweight division. He's a class act. He can fight. It's his first international, and I'm sure he's going to do well against a guy from Finland.
Yes, he's got some shoes to fill there, because his dad is Andre Tyser, very good super middleweight in his day. South African champion, fought for the WBC title, Commonwealth champion. So he's got that boxing pedigree. Now his opponent is a not so well-known guy. He's from Finland. We know a Norwegian nightmare, the heavyweight Robert Elonis, who upset Kovnaski a while back. He's from there as well. He's got a record of 9-3. I watched some of his fights. He's fought on the road quite a lot. Got beaten in Germany on points. And then in Poland, he fought a guy called Przemysław Zwick. And I think he was robbed there. I think Silvanoina did enough to win. So Tommy Silvanoina, tough kid. You can see he's muscular. You can see in the way he's pumped up. Wants to get right into Brandon's face. He's got a bit of power. I think a little bit on the slow side. But he's a guy that Brandon has to take seriously.
Yeah, and you know, things have changed over the years. It's where European fighters, you fought a European fighter as a South African, it was kind of, you were going to win. You know, you fought a guy from America, it was a tough fight. The Europeans have come well, they're a strong nation now when it comes to fighters. And so you can never underestimate them. And Brandon Tyson, yeah, that's what he needs to do. It's his first international fight. He needs to look good, especially as the forward world champion. And he needs to show the promoters that he is the real deal in the junior middleweight division. But I think he'll win tomorrow night.
Yes, but the interesting thing is Tommy Silvanoina has never been stopped. And I talked to Damien Durantes, his trainer, and he says, that's the challenge. We're going to see if we can get him out of there before the end of the fight. So, but I can only see Brandon Tyson with his recent form winning there. Silvanoina is tough. He's going to come and fight. He's got a bit of power, but he takes every shot and he walks sort of through it. And yet Tyson's got a great jab of his, and he times you uppercut really well. So I can only see Brandon Tyson there. Whether he can stop him or not, we'll have to see. That's part of the excitement.
I'm definitely going Brandon Tyson for that one.
And then we move on to a fight that could easily have been the main event. It's almost like a main event in itself. It's the fight that's definitely got the most buzz going, and most people are talking about this fight. It's almost overshadowing the main event because we all know Jabulani Mackenzie, undefeated 11-0, and then former IBO champion Thulani Tools Mbenge, Evolution 17-1, only the one loss. So sort of like a crossroads, all South African welterweight fight.
Yeah, it's a local as lekker fight. It's the best local fight in the country now, that I would say. The best matchup. As you said, Mackenzie undefeated. He's defending his WBA Pan-African title against the former IBO champion. And Mbenge looks in great shape, and so does Mackenzie. And it should be a crack of a fight in the welterweight division. Mbenge should be the favourite. He's a big welterweight. Mackenzie's moved up. But I don't know how Mackenzie ever made junior welterweight, to be honest, because he's a big guy. He's even taller than Mbenge. A crack of a local fight, Rooks. I can't wait to commentate that fight.
If you're in the corner of Jabulani Mackenzie, what would the game plan be? What would you tell Jabu to do against Mbenge?
Well, I think, you know, what I told every fighter as a trainer, and what I tell every fighter as a manager, jump on your guy, don't give away rounds, go out there and take the fight to your opponent, and don't give him any respect. And Mackenzie's got to do that. Mackenzie's got to jump on Mbenge. He's got to show him that he's there to win. If you give Mbenge too much respect, he's going to throw you. He's going to hurt you if you give him respect. So, yeah, jump on Mbenge if you're Mackenzie.
And if you're Sean Smith, if you're in the corner of Tools, what do you tell Tools
Same
to
thing.
do there?
If you Tools Mbenge, he jumps on you anyway. So Mbenge is coming to jump on you.
Yeah.
So you've got to try and jump back on him. Mbenge is a good fighter. He's come forward fighter. He's busy. He's coming to win. There's no doubt about that. Mackenzie's got to try and match his man.
And I think we can safely say Mbenge has got the power advantage here.
He's got the power, and like I said, he's not necessarily the bigger man in size, but he's been a welterweight for a long time. And of course, Mackenzie moved up from junior welter. It's a 50-50 fight. I don't even want to put my head on the line here. I don't know who's going to win that fight.
Yeah, and that's what makes a good fight. If we all know who's going to win, it's not that exciting.
Who do you think is going to win the fight?
Okay, I've been going this way and that way. I wrote a story for The Ring on Saturday's tournament, and most of the space got taken up by this, and asked a few trainers here, and I ended up with 50-50. Half saying Mbenge, half saying Mackenzie.
Yes.
Now, for me...
you got two cracker trainers as well.
Sean Smith
against
Sebastian Rothman, of course, the former cruiserweight contender, IBO champion, WBU as well, and South African champion Sebastian Rothman. But, it's a boxer against a boxer puncher. Now, if you look at Jabulani Mackenzie, his game on the outside, I think, is better. He's quicker, a little bit quicker hands, he moves a little better, and he likes to box. If you put him under pressure too much, like his fight against Marius Matamba, he looks a bit uncomfortable. But he manages to win. When he fight Kobesa Katembo, common opponent, both Tools and Jabulani beat Katembo, but I think Tools looked a bit better. Jabulani doesn't like too much pressure. Now Katembo was fighting with his head and wrestling. It was an awful fight. He won. But my question mark over Jabulani Mackenzie is how is he going to handle the pressure, the more intelligent pressure that Thulani Mbenge is going to put on him. How will he handle it if he really gets cracked by Mbenge? Now Mbenge on the other hand, he's got holes there that you can exploit. He really sits down on his punches too much. He loads up like the Americans say. You can miss quite badly when he swings. And sometimes he runs out of ideas. I think like in the Formella fight you could see, it was a close fight. We thought Mbenge edged it.
I thought Mbenge edged it, but he took his foot off the
he made it close
the
there in the last round. Formella adjusted. You have to give him a bit of credit. He was busy. And then Mbenge kept going with the same thing, left hook, right hand, left hook. So if Mackenzie can get in front and keep changing the angles on Mbenge, he should be able to outpoint Mbenge. But if Mbenge's pressure, if he hurts Mackenzie and he makes him tentative, makes him grab, makes him feel uncomfortable like he was against Katembo, against Matamba, I think Mbenge has got a better skill set than Matamba and definitely Katembo to do it on points. He's got the better quality of opposition. You know, Diego Chavez, he's beaten Wilfredo Vasquez, that was robbed against Lewis Ritson in England a while back. So
it's a good fight, Luke.
So
it's a fantastic fight.
So I have to go for somebody. So I'm thinking just that edge in power and experience in Mbenge is going to carry the day, and I think he's going to win a close decision over Jabulani Mackenzie.
I can't see a knockout here either because both fighters never knocked their common opponent out in Kuvesa. I think it's going to be a war, and definitely Jabulani Mackenzie is going to have to try and bring it on against a fighter that's been a world champion in Mbenge. And hard fight to call. Whoever wants it most. Like you said, you spoke to people and you came out with a 50-50. It's an exciting fight.
I can see Mackenzie lifting his game, moving, sticking, moving, giving angles and outboxing and befuddling Mbenge. But I can also see Mbenge hitting Mackenzie at a point and making him withdraw into his shell. And if Mackenzie gets into that in his shell uncomfortable mode, he's going to be in trouble with Mbenge.
Both tall guys for the welterweight division, both slick, good movers. Mbenge, I would favour as a come forward fighter and as a puncher, as you said. But we really don't know how good Mackenzie is. And tomorrow night's going to prove how good either fighter is. Whoever wins this fight can go through and possibly fight for a world title sometime down the line.
And then we go to the main event. It's a guy you manage, Ludumo 9mm Lamati. He's taking on Jose Martin Estrada Garcia. There's a lot of names there.
Like an Afrikaans name.
Like an Afrikaans name from Mexico. They had to name all the cousins and uncles in there. Now Ludumo is undefeated still. And Garcia has only lost once. He's 12-1-1. I looked at his record though. That loss was a majority decision early in his career in a technical draw. But he's beaten some good guys. He's beaten a guy early on points that went on to challenge for the world title. And he's fought on the road once. So it's not his first time outside of Mexico. And he beat a Puerto Rican who was 17-1 at the time, Luis Lebron. That's the only fight I could find, only footage I could find about on Jose Martin Estrada Garcia. And it struck me as a kind of a guy that takes 3 rounds or so to get into his stride. You know, he takes a few shots, hangs back a little bit. Yeah, tests his opponent, and then he goes into the typical Mexican style, which is that pressure fighting style, body shots. He really attacks the body, left hook to the liver, uppercuts, put his opponent down, and he won the fight on the road like that. So he's coming here to fight.
Yes,
he
absolutely.
looks calm, he looks confident, he's on the weight. Talking about weight, Ludumo Lamati, as we're sitting now, he missed weight by about 250 grams, but he's got 2 hours to make the weight. So that's about the size of a cup of coffee, which is hard to squeeze out when you haven't got much left to squeeze.
Yeah, he's got to go run and take that quarter kilogram off as Ludumo Lamati.
But by all intents and purposes, he's going to make that. Do you think that's going to be effective? We've got a Mexican body puncher. We've got Ludumo that's obviously squeezing at the weight.
Yeah, look, it's a big fight for Ludumo Lamati. It's a big fight for Garcia. It's a vacant IBO championship of the world in the junior featherweight division. And both fighters know they need to up their game to win. Ludumo's 17-1. Golden Gloves like to call him South Africa's best kept secret because he has kind of been lost to the country. You never heard about him for a few years. A man who was born in Undersani and grew up in Port Elizabeth and now resides in Johannesburg. He was floating around a bit. Rocky Weinstein did a good job with him. Larry Weinstein when he was with him. And then he went to the UK and he didn't know what to do in the UK. He was looking for fights there. And a bit lost to boxing. And now he's with Golden Gloves. He had a good win the other day on the Golden Glove show. And he's focused. He wants to win a world title. He's a focused young man. 17-1, never tasted defeat yet. And
17-0-1, yeah.
17-0-1, one draw, 17 wins. So he doesn't know what it's like to lose, and it's an opportunity to win a world title. But the same goes for Garcia. Garcia's come from Mexico. The Mexican fighters grow up tough and poor, and they look at the Canelo Alvarez and they think, yo, you can make billions out of boxing. And you can, but not everyone's Canelo Alvarez. But it's an opportunity to win a world title. You go from fighting for 50,000 rand as an example in our currency to 3, 4, 500,000 rand or dollars or pounds, whatever it is, wherever you live. You become well known, you become financially secure, and you become the world champion. And this is the opportunity tomorrow for Leduma Lamati and Jose Garcia.
It is for IBO. A lot of people don't realize it's not recognized really that much in the rest of the world like the Big Four, but you earn more money with that belt than you earn without it. And a lot of those IBO belt holders go on to fight for something in the WBA, WBC, IBF, or WBO. So it's an important step up.
Oh, the IBO has become a credible organization because guys like Lennox Lewis were IBO champion, Golovkin, the list.
Joshua's got an IBO belt.
Joshua, of course, yeah. So yes, it's a credible organization now, the IBO, and it's what these guys need. You know, you need. I've always said it as well in Drukes in any sport. You've got to be in the top 10, 20, in boxing in the top 10, in golf maybe the top 100 or whatever, to make money. So if you don't win an IBO world title, you're not going to make money in boxing. So this is such a big opportunity for both these young men, for Garcia and for Leduma Lamati. So they've got to both put it on the line tomorrow. You've got to go make it happen. You're getting this one opportunity. It's going to be one opportunity for both of them. Whoever loses tomorrow night might never fight for a world title again. And that's how you have to look at it. You're getting this opportunity, make it happen. I'm going Leduma Lamati.
Points?
I think he'll win on points. Possibly a late round stoppage. He's not a big puncher, Leduma Lamati, but he's skillful, he's classy, he moves well, he's a clever young man. And hopefully Leduma Lamati for South Africa, and hopefully for me.
I'm also, obviously, I always support my South African fighters. That doesn't necessarily mean I always pick them to win. But I've got to go for Leduma Lamati. I think he's a busier fighter. Key would be to get ahead early to take advantage of a slow start of Garcia. If it wasn't, in fact, just that one fight where he started slow. But I do think the fighter has got a little red light on it. I don't think it's a given Leduma wins this. The weight thing worries me a lot. You know, if you're killing yourself to make the weight, you don't want a guy eating you in the liver and in the stomach. Sure. So there is a bit of a danger there with a Mexican, I think. But I think Leduma is going to win a close decision, but I think it's going to be a tough one. I don't think he's going to run through a Mexican. But we will see what happens on Saturday night. So folks, you got to remember to tune in on SuperSport from 2:30. And Brian will be ringside doing the commentary. Either with Pumlani Msibi or Kevin Evans, I'm not sure who.
Kevin Evans is in fact doing the afternoon show.
Okay. With
Alfred Mzizi, the first 4 fights, and then myself and Pumlani are doing the evening fights. So fantastic, yeah, from 2:30 on live on SuperSport. And I can't wait to commentate a really exciting event brought to you by Golden Gloves, brought to you by RDG, and of course Palace Bet.
And I'm also lucky to be there covering the card for the ring. So what a privilege to be one of a few sitting there. Hopefully sometime we can get back to having cards with live crowds again, like we do in parts of the States. But okay, that's it from me and the champ Brian Mitchell. Please remember to tune in Saturday on SuperSport. And until then, remember to keep those